Hello, everybody. We need to talk about what I just saw at the Jonathan ODDI hearing. Okay, so long story short, they pushed it off again. But wait. It wasn't the same as the last couple hearings. Okay, so we've been kind of inching closer to what appears to be perhaps some type of plea agreement or something. But each time there is a court date, pretty much the same thing happens. It's like deja vu. Jonathan Oddie is never there. He's just in holding or jail. I mean, we've even had people on the internet speculating like he was no longer among us. You know what I mean? So it's been a big, hashtag where is Jonathan Oddie moment. So today he was there in court. I mean, at least that's what they all pretended like. I wasn't in court physically. I went on Zoom. And for that reason, it really limits what you're able to see because the angle of the camera in the courtroom is only on the judge. So the courtroom is not being shown. So I didn't see Jonathan Oddie, but I did hear him, and the judge did confirm on more than one occasion that he was indeed in the courtroom. So you're not able to record audio, video, stuff like that. So I just wrote everything down that I thought was important. This is kind of how I'm having to do it because they don't allow you to do recordings of the public hearing. So it was set to start at 9 o'clock, and I think it did start around on time. It was the same judge in there, Andrea Wolfson, and like 10, 11 minutes goes by from the start time of the hearing. It's 9:11 a.m. and the judge calls the Jonathan Oddie case. And it just all happens so fast. Like I really can't write it down fast enough or remember. I don't know. I try to write it down as best I can. I'm looking at my notes here. All it says is 9:11 a.m. Judge calls his case. Quote, "I'm going to pass your case." There's some chatter. Sorry, I can't remember what they were saying. But I think what was going on was Jonathan Oddie's attorney wasn't yet in the courtroom. Okay, so that was at 9:11. At 9:20, the judge again confirms Jonathan Oddie is present. And she's going through her list of cases, right? She's going down the line, but every now and again, she'll come back and address the Oddie situation because she confirms, well, she looks over there in like a certain direction that obviously, again, I can't see what she's looking at because I only have the camera angle of the judge, but she's going, Jonathan Odie. And it's like, she looks in this one direction and she's like, "I'm going to pass your case." So 5 minutes later, 5 minutes goes by. It's 9:25 a.m. and the judge's audio gets muted. And it's muted for a few minutes, and someone asks in the chat, like, what's going on with the audio? Because it did look like her mouth was moving like she was talking. But the judge typed in the chat, in the gallery chat, "We're in a brief recess." So that was about 9:25 a.m. Then by like 9:27 or 28, she's back. At 9:30, she mutes again. And again, her mouth is moving like she's talking. So if you were like physically in the courtroom, maybe you heard her talking, but like, I don't, no shade or whatever, but like, I don't understand why it's okay to like mute the mic. If there's like an open court, it's public. Are you making everybody inside the courtroom leave out? It's like, kind of like, if it's supposed to be public, I don't know why the judge is muting her microphone without whatever. Anyway, so I mean, it's minutes of this. And during this time is when she looks back in that direction of what appeared to be where she was looking in the direction of Oddie. Now, the devil's advocate counter argument to that is she could have been looking at anything, could have been over there in that direction. She could have been talking to anybody. But it does just make me feel like I have to wonder what was being said because the mic was muted. I mean, we can only speculate. So eventually the mic does get turned back on. So it's like 9:36. Then they start talking about, this isn't the point of this video. I'm only going to take a few seconds on this, but then the judge starts talking with like another lawyer about another case about this lady that was being held in jail. And they were all kind of like talking about how they wanted to have this woman medicated against her will. And the lady the inmate should not want to be medicated. And so they were all, including the judge, like sitting like kind of like, I don't know, like doing it in this like really nice, like pre-K teacher voice about how they're going to kind of figure out how to get the doctor to give a new diagnosis or to say the thing that needs to be said. And again, I mean, it's not lost on me at all that this is Florida. This is where the Florida shuffle is. This is where Bam alleges that he was held in several rehab facilities against his will. and he had to escape or whatever. I mean, graduate, whatever he said. So like, yeah, they're talking about the doctors. They're talking about, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so then 9:48 rolls around, and then the judge calls up Jonathan ODDI again, or like calls his case up. And that is whenever the two lawyers stand or whatever. And like one of the lawyers, I don't know which side it was. I think it was Jonathan ODDI's lawyer, but one of the lawyers was saying that this is going to be an NGI, agreed NGI track. They're waiting for Dr. something issues with transcripts. And so the last time I went to one of these hearings, it wasn't the most recent hearing. I actually missed that one. Oops. But the most recent one that I didn't go to and I didn't really report on or whatever, they just pushed the hearing off again. He wasn't there. Nothing happened. Now, some stuff might have gotten said in there. I don't know. Because I missed it. Oops, sorry. But the one before that I went to, and in that one, the lawyer for, I believe the lawyer for Jonathan ODDI, but it might have been the government's attorney. I don't know. One of the lawyers told the judge they were having some issues with a certain expert. I think it was an expert. There was something to do with like an expert or a witness or a certain like somebody that specialist, something like that. But then today it gets brought up again. The lawyers bring up an expert and they're like, this certain expert, he will only do his analysis that's required for this criminal case. The expert will only do his analysis if he has transcripts of I don't know, of what? I don't know, maybe an interview. They might have said it. I didn't write it down. I don't know. But there's a transcript needs to be done, I guess, from a video or from a recording, audio. Now, one of the lawyers said that he himself has been transcribing the transcript because this expert needs written transcripts to cite to. He doesn't want to cite to minute marks, which would be an audio recording. And so that's what's been holding this case up the whole time, is kind of what feels like was disclosed. Like they're waiting for this expert who's got to do a report, but he can't do the report without being able to cite to a transcript. So he needs a transcript to do his report, but the transcript doesn't exist. So they're in the process of trying to get the transcript done. Now, I don't know why they don't just send it to one of those transcript people, like, don't they have me send it to Mr. B's got a dubbing company? You know what I mean? Like, just send it. I don't know, but it seems like that's what's holding this up. And that's what's being presented as if it's the thing that's been holding it up. Now, the second issue here is this NGI thing. Briefly looked it up, and there was a couple people in there too who I was kind of chatting with in DMs outside of the court hearing part, right? We were all in there, and they looked it up too. And this NGI means, I think, not guilty by reason of insanity, which doesn't mean like the same as not guilty. You're off scot-free, run free. It's you usually, especially in Florida, end up in state custody, and instead of a jail, you're there in a psych hospital or in a psych prison. Like, I mean, whatever the nomenclature is, but it's like an state funded institution where they send, psychiatric criminals. And so Jonathan ODDI was in the court, and he didn't seem to be protesting that he was going to be complying with this not guilty by reason of insanity. He wasn't going to be objecting. It seemed like he was going to be complying with the not guilty by reason of insanity track. Now, does he know what that means? I don't know. From what I understand about these plea not guilty by reason of insanity, you don't get a sentence, like an amount of time. They just keep you in as long as the doctors in there think you need to be in there. I mean, that's what I remember learning. I don't know if that applies here. I don't know. Maybe they changed that. I don't know if it's state to state, jurisdiction. But considering, the hearing in full also featured the judge kind of cooperating with the lawyers on both sides to try and kind of medicate an inmate or whatever in the jail or whatever. And the doctor of the inmate, importantly in that case, was hesitant was hesitant to medicate this person because the doctor in the jail was saying, I don't know if we need to involuntarily medicate the inmate. I'm saying the inmate because I don't remember her name. I didn't write it down, but just for the purposes of the story. So the doctor didn't want to. The doctor's like, no, I'm hesitant to do that because just because she's tough to deal with is not the same as being a danger. And I don't think she is a danger. She hasn't harmed anybody, so I'm not going to involuntarily medicate her. Well, here, I mean, I just watched in this hearing, the judge, the lawyers on both sides, they're doing it in such a sweet voice. The judge even said, maybe I could call the doctor up myself. I mean, I don't want to overstep, but we could probably get you know what I mean? Like, it was just interesting, the timing, right? Because that happened. And then like 2 cases later was Jonathan Oddie, and he's presumably about to get sent to some type of psych asylum run by the state or something. I mean, I don't know. But they were talking about how they were having issues with getting the transcript, specifically because they do have a transcript, but it was done by AI, and AI is not as reliable because, you know, you look at the little captions that are AI generated, it doesn't always pick up on accents. Sometimes things are unclear and it'll guess, stuff like that. So we're already having the AI cause issues in court. The ultimate resolution at the end of the hearing did end up being pretty much the same as usual, which is it did get pushed off. But it does appear like things are moving. It does appear like things are going in the direction of forward. It's not just like, oh, kick it off again, oh, kick it off again, right? Like this time, Jonathan Oddie was there. They're given a little bit more details. We are given details as the public to now know what's holding this thing up. And it appears like Jonathan Oddie is, at least so far, in agreement with a possible resolution of the case, just pleading guilty and going to an insane asylum run by the state or whatever, funded by the state. I don't know how it works in Florida. You know, what if in Florida there's some type of thing where it's like, okay, he maybe gets sent on to the Florida shuffle. I don't know. I need to look into it more. But I mean, if he's of his sound mind and all of that, and this is his choice, I mean, that's his choice, not mine, not yours. So that's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.